There's a camera right there. Hey, camera. Hey. Hey guys, what's up? I'm Third Time's a Charm. Now, in the past, I've seen numerous people ask the question, is GameStop dumpster diving dead? Quote unquote. I like to ask a different question, sort of altered. Is GameStop dumpster diving on the decline? And even more broad, is dumpster diving as a whole declining or on the decline? So now we've got a few questions to try to answer. My main objective behind this video is to give you guys some insight from my experiences of dumpster diving, the places I've been and the people I've met. Now remember, my experiences may and probably do differ from your experiences dumpster diving and of the other experiences that you may have seen on YouTube. Now granted, I will jump around a lot, so if you get confused, please bear with me guys. And before we discuss these questions and the possible answers, let's kind of get an idea of what dumpster diving is, just in case you're not familiar with the topic. Now dumpster diving, in my eyes, where somebody goes through somebody's trash, whether it's a commercial or residential in a dumpster or through somebody's trash bag, finds things that are reusable or something that may be repurposed. That still works. That's not completely broken. Now that we kind of have an idea of what dumpster diving is, we can begin to answer some of these questions. Now, before we jump right in, let me kind of give you a brief history of my dumpster diving experience. I began dumpster diving a little over a year and a half ago when I was a senior in college. I remember watching both Hype TV, shout out to Hype, how's it going man, and P3 TV, both of which at that time were big into dumpster diving at GameStop and various places. P3 TV, he's kind of gone under the radar and he's kind of vanished. His last video I think was about a Black Friday haul he had. Both of these gentlemen, they got me sort of thinking about dumpster diving. Like, wow, look at these things that people can find. I don't know what video it was when I saw it. Some video at some point triggered me to think, okay, maybe I kind of want to try this. Just to, you know, I didn't think this was going to be sort of a long-term kind of thing. I was like, okay, let's try this once or twice. But that didn't turn out to be the case. I do remember my first time dumpster diving. I was with a couple of my buddies, and they didn't want to go with me. They just wanted to sit in the car. They actually ended up going to a movie instead, and I just went by myself. I remember going, and I was nervous and excited all the same. I was thinking, okay, what if I get caught? What if some employee says, hey, gotta go? Or what if I find this or that? I'm like, what if I don't find anything at all? And I ended up finding a ton of game cases. Like, I must have found 30 Xbox 360 game cases. And at that time, I was like, oh, cool. I got cases with the art still on it. But these days, I find cases, I'm like, ugh, cases. I find those all the time. But at that time, for the first time dumpster diving, I was like, oh my gosh. I actually found something that's reusable. I can use this, or someone else can use this. And it just felt great to save something from going to the landfill. If you've watched my videos, I have come across many great things other than just cases. I've come across posters, consoles, numerous hundreds and hundreds of games. I've come across even things that aren't gaming related, like computer chairs, desks, food, drinks, even clothing. You name it, I've probably come across it. Now that you kind of got a history of me, let's go through those questions. Is GameStop dumpster diving dead? When I hear that question, I think of, okay, is GameStop dumpster diving done? Is it on its last leg? You can still go to many YouTube channels. Tales of Taylor, I mean, why not mention it? He's the biggest proof out there that you can still find a ton of stuff. Location. There are a lot of divers out there who are finding things. Consoles, games, posters. Maybe not as often, but they're still finding things, as am I. Which leads me to my second question. Is GameStop dumpster diving on the decline or declining? Now, GameStop dumpster diving in the United States, I can understand why maybe people think it's declining or even just not existent. I'm still finding things. I never really did find things every day. I may not be finding things every other day or a few times a week as much as I used to, but I'm still finding things. I'm finding cases, games, posters, even a console randomly here and there. Now granted, other people are having much better luck than I, but there are also a lot of people who are having worse luck than I. Really, like I said, it depends on your location. In my opinion, it depends on the staff that work at that current location. At a GameStop, you could have a manager who doesn't care what you do with the stuff that you throw away. How strict are they going to be? How committed are they going to be when it comes to the policy and procedures of actually destroying things? Are they going to commit to that? Or are they simply just going to throw it away and, you know, leave it up for grabs for somebody to come along and take? Moving on to the third question, is dumpster diving in general or as a whole declining or on the decline? And in my opinion, dumpster diving as a whole, I think, will always exist. Even if it is at its lowest point, it's kind of like beauty in my opinion. It's all in the eye. You know, we all perceive things differently. I can understand why maybe people think it's declining. First being, in the last few years, you've had a couple articles where people have gone public. I can understand that. That has made GameStop more aware. It has made GameStop dumpster diving a more public thing. Yes, I think going to the media, the articles in the past, I've heard it, but at the same time, I think if it wasn't one person, it's going to be another person going to the media. So eventually, I think it would have happened. You know, I don't mean to be a negative Nancy. I'm being a reality Roxy. Roxy, that's a girl's name? My bad. We're gonna go with it. I'm being a reality Roxy, okay? Trying to understand both ends. Secondly, when I started diving a year and a half ago or so, the new consoles, or the 8th gen, I believe, or the next gen as people still call them, the Xbox One, the PS4, kind of thing, GameStop, for me, was throwing out a lot. If you go to my earlier videos, they're not the greatest looking as far as quality, but as far as content, they're spectacular. Throwing out games that are rubber banded together. I'm talking, you know, even if it was one game, they were throwing out 50 copies of it. They were throwing out strategy guides, posters, boxes galore, which made it seem like, okay, GameStop throws out a bunch of stuff all the time. And that was true maybe at that time. But since the new consoles have kind of made their way in, they've left their footprint starting now, and they've kind of gotten comfortable, that has sort of slowed down the throwing out of older games. It doesn't happen as often. That makes it seem like, okay, it's declining, but maybe, you know, it was just a random nice spurt. It's really all about how you perceive it. My third point regarding GameStop dumpster diving, this is a point you can't overlook, and I'm not trying to point blame. If anything, I would point blame at myself. We're making videos on GameStop dumpster diving. I'm not saying we're horrible people. There's nothing wrong with making videos. You know, I enjoy creating videos on YouTube. It's one of my greatest passions. Now, granted, some of these may or may not affect the amount of items that you find. Tales of Taylor, he's got thousands of views, thousands of subscribers, and dozens of videos, but yet he's still able to find things all the time. So maybe it's not affecting him as much. The videos that we create, just the footage alone, it's going to create more awareness. More people are going to go diving. You have more of a chance of somebody from GameStop in management, or even from another company, whether they deal with gaming related items or not, thinking, oh wow, look at this company who's throwing all this stuff away. We need to make sure our company is not doing that. They're destroying. We need to make sure our company is destroying this, or we need to make sure our GameStop is destroying this and not having this happen. The videos that we create are creating awareness. There's hundreds of videos of dumpster diving. Like I said, with the footage that we create, whether it's from an article in the media, a video on YouTube that we create, or by word of mouth, someone is going to find out what we're doing, and they're either going to try to stop us, or they're going to join us. They're going to try to do it as well. I've had both happen. I've had one of my locations find out that I was dumpster diving, and they've continued to destroy stuff. Now, they've gotten lazy sometimes. The people who work at these locations, especially in retail, it's constantly changing. If Billy Bob gets fired and they hire Jilly Jane might be bad at destroying things. Things are just getting thrown out and not destroyed. That unpredictability, you know, people have said, oh, go when the trash night is. But even then, in the past, I've gone on trash nights, and half the time you don't find anything. You can't rely on just certain times and even in days. A lot of it is luck. As far as who's throwing out things that night, who's working that night. Are you the first one to that dumpster? Because there could be 3 or 4 other people who are going to plan on going. Oh, I know, I'm getting a headache just talking to myself. Let me kind of wrap up. In conclusion, there's a lot of variables that go into when you're going to find something. Dumpster diving as a whole, I think it'll always be here. I think there will always be somebody doing it. I think there will always be something to find. Like I said, we're humans. We're going to get lazy. As humans, we're wasteful. It's easy to point fingers at one person or one thing or one aspect. There are a lot of aspects as to why dumpster diving, whether it's at GameStop or somewhere else, or whatever it is that you want to think it is. GameStop dumpster diving, do I think it's done? It's seen its last days? Don't have a definitive answer for you guys. We all perceive things differently. Me finding 5 game cases may be nothing to me, where someone's like, oh yeah, I got something. We're all different. We all have our different experiences. We're all going to feel differently about it. We're all coming from different locations, literally demographic. I hope I've kind of given you guys not necessarily an answer, if that's what you came for. I hope I gave you more of kind of an insight. Maybe I created more questions for you guys. I'd love to hear your questions. Maybe kind of made you think a little bit more about, okay, maybe it's not just because of this. I don't understand why it's this, but let me try to understand it. If you've sat here and you've listened to me blabber like an idiot for 30 minutes, I'm sorry. I wasted 30 minutes of your life. Regardless, I'm glad you guys came by. Thanks for watching the video. Thank you for your continued support. Keep on diving safely, though I don't always do that though. Every other video, every other comment is wear gloves, wear gloves, wear gloves. What are you doing, you idiot? Wear protection. Wear a raincoat. I need to take your advice. Okay. Thanks, guys. I'm Third Time's a Charm, bringing you guys everything gaming. Oh yeah, and somebody said I was like a retarded PewDiePie the other day. I'm like, I mean, is that a compliment? Are you saying I have a lot of subscribers? I mean, he has a little more hair than me, and he's from Sweden, okay? I'm American with a K. Nope.
Hey, oh, what's the matter? Got the sun in my eyes and you in my mind. Sure, I got a lot to learn about love. Hey, summer's waiting